Get up! Now!
Joker's loose. Alert the warden.
Hurry! We'll listen him back!
The joke's on you.
Ta-da! Honey, I'm home.
Come on in.
Welcome to the madhouse, Batman! I set a trap, and you sprang it gloriously!
Well, I have to say I've been looking forward to this game for about 2 years now, and it's finally here. Does it live up to the hype? Is it the game we've all been waiting for? Batman Arkham Asylum is a third-person action game with many of the same qualities as BioShock and Dead Space. It has a great atmosphere, and it feels slightly open-world-ish. I know it's not that bad a word, but it plays like Metroid Prime. You have a huge island to explore, and you revisit some locations and look for hidden items and riddles to solve. The game will take you about 10 to 12 hours if you just play simply for the storyline, but it can take up to 20 to 30 hours if you want to find everything the game has to offer, including the riddles and all the little things to find. So there's a great length to the game, not to mention the challenge maps where you wail on dozens of bad guys. But let's talk about the storyline. The story was written by none other than Paul Dini, one of the creative minds behind Batman the Animated Series, and also a fantastic comic book writer himself. Batman is also voiced by Kevin Conroy from Batman the Animated Series. And finally we have Mark Hamill voicing the Joker, also from the Batman Animated Series. So we have a fantastic cast and fantastic writers helming the game, and the story is extremely well written, hitting all the right notes, and tells a great Batman story. The dialogue is well written, witty when needed, and epic when needed as well. And the voiceovers are some of the best I have seen in any game. They do a great job. The story and cast really bring the game, the story, and Batman to life. You don't need to know a thing about Batman to enjoy this game. There are audiobooks everywhere telling you about the villains and bios about the main cast, so you know all the history. This game is also based off the comics, not the film or TV series. So the game has a gritty and serious tone, but it keeps in touch with its comic book roots. So it's not to show Batman in the real world, so you're going to get the great villains like Killer Croc and Poison Ivy. I also like the fact that the Riddler has tons of hidden puzzles to solve throughout the game. All are really cool and reference different and really cool characters. Overall, the game has a really great storyline that will keep you on the edge of your seat till the extremely epic finale. Next, we're going to talk about the graphics. The graphics in the world look pretty good, and some might say great. The game has a really fantastic visual style. The fighting animations look very good, very fluid. All the fisting and the punching and everything connects really well. And the enemies do look really good. But the lip sync can be off sometimes. It may just be a bit off. And some of the facial animations could be a little bit better. But overall, it's still a fantastic looking game. But there's always just this little bit of detail, like, I mean, down to the screws on the Batman suit, to the blood on the Joker's face by the end, to the tattering of the cape. It's all really detailed, and so is the world, which makes the graphics even more better. Now let's talk about the gameplay. The gameplay works very, very well. The fights are fast-paced and intense, and it's also extremely satisfying when you hit someone. It makes you really feel like you hit them. The game's fighting system is pretty easy to learn, but it can be slightly hard to master, but you always look like a pro. This also gives the game an epic feel. The game's stealth is done pretty well and is fairly easy to pick up as well. You also get lots of cool gadgets to use, like a grapple gun to pull down your enemies, my personal favorite, or explosives wall to spray on walls to make doors or take out enemies. The game is very well paced and keeps the game from ever getting boring. The island is well designed and makes for a great setting for the game. Also, the game has some really fun platforming sections using your grappling gun to get to high ledges or to get a drop on enemies. It's really great. I was slightly worried in the demo that the platforming and grappling gun were not going to be as fluid as they were, but it is very fluid in the full game. You can climb or grapple onto most anything and it works great. And using gadgets like the battering work very well. Being able to take a different approach to most situations is great. It gives the game a good bit of replayability. Finally, this is just an outstanding game. The detail is stunning, the gameplay is intense and satisfying, and the game does Batman justice. As a longtime Batman fan, I have to say this is a fantastic game with little to no flaws. There are only a few annoying sections. Mainly Scarecrow's sections can be a bit annoying, but they are still very, very interesting and intense. The lip sync is a bit off, but after having near perfect pacing, never too much combat, never too little, just enough boss battles, and some great platforming sections, this is a fantastic game. And a serious Game of the Year contender. If you're a Batman fan, you really owe it to yourself to play this game, but everyone else will still love this game because it's just so fantastically well made. The game is very well made, it's polished to perfection, the team behind the game did a fantastic job and really put their hearts and souls into this game. I'm sure I have missed tons of great things about this game, but the bottom line is Batman Arkham Asylum gets a perfect 5 out of 5. Thanks for watching my review, please rate, comment, and subscribe.
There's no escape, Joker. I will find you.
Oh, I'm counting on it. Just not yet.